Welcome to the Brett Davis Podcast.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is a special edition show that had to come out because there's some things that we're not really
kosher.
They're not kosher, but
They're not
just,
kosher.
It's there's some evilness going on that we need to talk about. And so before we do that, of course, this is Sandra Schellar, who's been on many of my shows and just a great partner to work with and entertains and educates people all over the place about the Holocaust. And we should not forget that. And we shouldn't even be talking about what we're going to talk about tonight, but
we have to.
We're going to. So before we do that, I want to thank Attorney King, of course, and
Amen.
Say thank you for what he does in the community and also for supporting the show like he has. Of course, Cody Martinez and Saquon Casino.
Absolutely.
Great people. And of course, IB Fitness, Marina Teal. Thank you so much all the way from Houston, Texas. And last and not least, Bonafacetta, the Garage, some really good Italian food in Coronado.
Heard about it.
Have you been there before?
I'm going to go. I'm looking forward to it.
When are you going?
I'm going to go this week because I have this friend of mine who is in the military. Thank you for your service, Andrea. And I will take her to the restaurant. I'm really looking forward to it.
I was looking forward to taking you, but I understand that's okay.
No, well, we can all go together. The more the merrier.
Okay. This is not supposed to be joking, and this is a serious thing, but I connect with my friend here and I care about her. And when somebody tells me something, anybody's doing something wrong to my friends, I take offense to it. And so let's talk about what happened. First of all, thank you for.
But it's more an awareness. It's like one of these things that when people come on podcasts, they talk about themselves and what they're doing, but this is something a little different, and people cannot be a bystander. That's the bottom line. I don't care what you're putting in, where it's going. What happened on Monday should never happen to anybody. And if it does, how are we going to react to it?
Do you want to explain what happened, or do you want to show a clip to let people see what happened?
Let's start with a clip, and then we can analyze the clip because it happened when our president of the organization was there.
Okay.
And it's the freshest when we videotaped it. So let's go from there.
Okay.
Situation.
Yeah, this is more than just an episode. This is more of an awareness. Yesterday at 2:40, today's date is what day? August 29th, I guess.
I think it's the 30th.
The 30th. Okay, so today is August 30th. Thank you. Yeah. And yesterday, which was August 29th at 2:40, we were tearing down the exhibit. And a gentleman came up to us, dark hair, dark eyes, with a blue shirt, wearing a blue shirt. And he noticed that the exhibit was taken down. And then he looked at the Auschwitz wall, and I'm going to let Harry tell you what we heard.
Okay, so what I heard in particular was he wasn't saying nice things about Jews. He was saying that word specifically, and he was saying that Jews were killing birds, and he also said he named off some characteristics he thought were bad, and he said that's what Jews
Well,
were.
Harry, I'm going to get right to the meat of it, okay?
Okay, sure.
Tell me if I'm wrong. He walked in the exhibit, he looks at the Auschwitz wall, and he said, that is a place where all Jews need to be killed. And he said, are you putting the wall up? Or are you taking it? Are you taking it out? I said, well, we're taking down the exhibit. He goes, no, the exhibit needs to be up because everybody needs to know how bad Jewish people are.
Yeah.
Not only did he say that, he also said that Jews lie, Jews steal. And while Jews were saying things like, where was God? He was saying, God gave them Auschwitz where they were supposed to die, and more people need to die. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, yes, I remember that very well. And he kept making reference to birds being killed.
The animals that were killed,
Yeah.
that Jews had a secret language, that we had a language that only Jews could understand, that had no translation. You know, my biggest thing is that I'm glad I didn't get into an argument with him, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think I was in shock more than I was anything.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think all of us in San Diego needs to be aware of people that make statements. If we only save one person from them watching what we're doing and they're aware of this, then we did the right. That's it.
Okay, you got cut off a little early there.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so I just found out about this like maybe an hour ago, a little over an hour ago. I had no idea at all. You didn't leave a message on my phone, so I didn't know until Sarah called me. And if this had happened before the exhibit had gone up, would you still have done the exhibit?
yeah, more than ever. And I probably would have reached to the community to make sure that the security of the exhibit, and to have better monitors and to watch everything that goes on. Like, the top thing would have been security, because I'm not going to let this man stop me. And I was in shock yesterday. Yeah, it was a shock. Or the day before yesterday, I'm working in an exhibit and somebody comes up to you and says, Jews need to die. Jews steal. Jews lie. Jews have their own language. Auschwitz was built on the other side. We need to keep this exhibit up so that people know that on the other side is where Jews need to be killed. And the big question was, did I hide my Jewish identity? No. But what I did is I started speaking a few Arabic words to protect myself. I'm not going to ever say to somebody that I'm not Jewish, even to this person who did that. But I am going to do what I can to protect where I am and who I am and the people that I'm with. I'm in a public library. There are employees there. There are people who use that facility. And this man came to a space. And again, the big question, okay, freedom of speech, but is that allowed?
Well, to me, it's a threat, and it's hate. And
It's hate.
after all the years of all the pain that was caused because of the Holocaust, you wouldn't think in this day and age that we would even be having
No,
this
you wouldn't think
discussion.
we'd have this discussion. No.
This is in Chula Vista, at the Chula Vista Library, where you had your exhibit for 2 years.
For 2.5 years.
Okay.
In the most wonderful place on earth.
Right. No, I've been there many times. We've seen the exhibit.
Think about it. The best parking.
Yeah.
The best auditorium.
Right by the police station.
Right by the police station.
Right by
The
City
best
Hall. Right by
people.
City Hall.
Across from City Hall.
Right.
The exhibit area is one of the best anywhere, where the alcoves are and your cases, and you're able to say something. And then all of a sudden, the day that we're taking this down, this man just walks in. I think, Brett, sometimes it's a nightmare. If I didn't show the clip that's pretty weak that I did with Harry, people wouldn't believe it. It's the same thing that what Eisenhower said. You need to document this.
What has to be
must be documented.
What has to be documented, and I believe that you can learn from this, because I think we need to be aware more of these types of individuals that are out there, and there is still hate for people that are Jewish, and there's just no reason for it, because.
But Brett, if the hate is going to happen against Jewish people, will they continue to hate other people? And what we have to look at is that the hate that happened against Jewish people, if this man was from the Middle East, okay, this is something that he was born with love, but he learned to hate.
Right. Well,
but he learned to hate.
Some people are not born into love. Some people are born under their circumstances, and they learn from the people that they're around.
But somebody learned to hate.
Well, we don't know. I mean, so you're right. But I mean, I don't think so. I think some people are born into love and things do change, but I think every circumstance.
My reason for being here, Brett, and especially because you're such a dear friend, is to remind people that if you are seeing swastikas, if you're seeing things on the walls, if you're seeing something that is not right, please contact me, because it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be looked at. I got to tell you, when I wrote the email to our chief police, within 5 to 10 minutes, I already had a response back.
Of course,
We're not going to tolerate this.
Well, the chief,
and what I love, absolutely love about Chief Kennedy, is the fact that it's about de-escalating it. It's not about who's going to get arrested. What are we going to do? It's about how do we handle this situation. The other thing is, after 2.5 years of being in the Chula Vista Public Library, these were my friends. The employees were my friends. I got to know them personally, from people that checked out books to people that were cleaning the exhibit. And I don't want anything to happen to my friends.
Nothing happened in that period of time.
No,
until
nothing
you take everything down.
Yeah, nothing, not one thing happened in the 2.5 years that we were there. It was all about, this is awesome. This is learning. I see where this is going. And then never did somebody come up to me, and he didn't even know if I had the exhibit or not. For all he knows, I was just somebody taking down the exhibit with Harry or Devon.
It seems like it's too much of a coincidence, though.
Yeah. But what I want to know is, people that look for places of gathering audiences, was it kind of like what an ant does? When an ant, you see one ant in a house, and then all of a sudden, you have an outbreak of ants. Not that I want to compare him to an ant.
No, it's an analogy.
But I'm wondering,
to scout.
Is he scouting an area? And
well, I think everything nowadays, I don't think anything should be taken lightly. And we've seen what's happened in the past to people that are Jewish descent, and we see that it has to be taken seriously.
You know me, that when my mom was alive and we would be doing talks, I always had an officer or a border or an ICE agent or somebody that was undercover. And I continued that tradition, that I wasn't going to have an event because I wanted to make an event a non-event, if you know what I mean.
No.
And that's why everything just went so smoothly. And yet, to take down the exhibit, I want to know, maybe would I react differently if I was putting up the exhibit and somebody's saying to me, yeah, I'm glad that wall is there because that is where people are supposed to be killed. It's nasty, it's mean, and if it happens with Jewish people, is it going to be an infection to happen to other people? And it's sad. It's sad because I don't know where this person went after this episode.
I will tell you, I don't know the ins and outs of what really goes on in law enforcement, but I do know we have a great police department in Chula Vista.
The best.
I know a lot of the officers.
The best.
I know a lot of the chiefs in San Diego. And I have to say, Chief Kennedy is probably one of the best chiefs in San Diego at getting things accomplished and getting down to the bottom of things. So we don't really have these types of problems in Chula Vista.
No. And I think what I want to do is to remind people, this is the most important thing. If I'm here this time of night, what I'm trying to remind people is, if you're going to have an event, hire somebody to stand in the back and keep the eyes open. Okay. Not that somebody's going to be gun happy or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't make any difference what it is. My big concern is, if it can happen to me, it can happen to groups of people that are cultural, that have cultural events, people that are LGBT, people that are putting things together. I mean, it's just, you're trying so hard.
But here's another thing too. I think in this country, we have something that nobody likes to talk about.
That is
not just a racism or racist situations that occur. We have a serious mental health problem in this country, and nobody wants to address it. It's like they want to blame other things and other factors, but
because you can't put a Band-Aid on it.
But look, it's like this. The schools, and I'm not putting the heat on the schools, but people that know these types of individuals that have problems shouldn't be squeaking through the cracks. They shouldn't be graduating. They shouldn't be moving on to different areas in education and life. Parents need to be more aware and try and stop trying to be their friends and be parents. And if they see that something's off with somebody in the first place, this is a different topic, of course, in itself.
Sure.
But that's a clue.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And then the whole racist hate thing, I mean, that's the way people are raised.
You know what was really bizarre? This was a good-looking man.
Well,
And
I mean,
it
Ted Bundy wasn't a bad looking guy
But I
either.
was saying, but here's a guy who was about 50, 55 years old, wearing a blue shirt. He had a nice haircut. You know, his hair was short, dark eyes. And when he approached, he was approaching with a question. But by the time that he finished in that 3-minute conversation,
A lot of hate came
the
out.
hands were crossed. He was angry. He was bitter. He was pointing at the Auschwitz wall. And all I can tell you, Brett, I went into shock. I mean, I absolutely went into shock.
So you and I know a lot of people from various walks of life, and we love pretty much everybody.
Yeah,
That's just the way we are. We love everybody. I could care less if you're a Republican. I could care less if you're a Democrat.
Not everybody's going to be my best friend, but everybody is an acquaintance. And you.
But I've never in the years I've known you, I've never seen anything odd as far as the way you treat everybody fair.
Try to.
You do. And I will say this: I have a lot of friends from different walks, and I'm bringing this up, and so do you, because you can't stereotype this one individual and say all people from the Middle East are this way.
No.
Because they're not. And I know a lot of people that are loving and gracious and sweet. And I also know people that are Hispanic that are sweet and nice, but in every populace, there's a bad apple.
Yeah.
A percentage. So let's not stereotype that situation. I want everybody to know that's not why we're having this conversation, because we need to look at the individual, and the individuals that are doing things need to be responsible and take it. It needs to be taken.
I want people to be careful. I want people that if you're going to have an event, go the extra mile to have somebody there who can be your eyes and ears. Because if you're doing something on stage, or you've got an exhibit, or you're doing something, I just, maybe what I'm trying to say is my respect for law enforcement and security guards and people that are there. I mean, hats off to you, because you have my respect now. And I won't do an event unless I know that I've got somebody there. And I want people to know that when we do something where we're in a gathered crowd, there will be somebody there who will be the eyes and ears.
Absolutely. I think there needs to be a lot of people that are doing security to watch circumstances that involve anything of the magnitude that you're doing. And your museum was very positive. It taught so many kids and individuals about parts of the Holocaust, because it's almost like you learn about people like your mom, and you learn about people that were there that are still alive, that to share the knowledge of what they went through. And it really it almost it transports you back.
I mean,
in a
think
small
about
way.
this. So 2 weeks ago, we had our event, and it was our brunch for Mayor Salas. 5 Holocaust survivors. Edith Eger, who wrote The Choice, who wrote The Gift, who's Oprah's dear friend. Of course, I'm going to have somebody there watching out for her. Ben Midler, 6 camps. Okay, Edith Palkowitz, what she went through. Ursula, Rose Schindler. I mean, these are people that, because they've become heroes telling their story in the Holocaust, it's really now my job and other people that when there's going to be an event, that they know that the security is going to be so there for them.
They don't have to worry about.
People don't have to worry.
Right. And you should have that. And this is a good learning experience, because now you can up your game more for this. And if anybody sees anything that's racially doesn't look right, it's racially profiled towards individuals at all of any walk of life, whether you're Jewish or you're gay or you're straight or whatever it is, we need to get back to respecting each other's differences.
Color. It's like we learned so much from so many people. A lot of people are saying, why is the Holocaust exhibit coming down? because we're getting ready on October 2nd to have the Filipino America of the South Bay, the Philippines of the South Bay. We're going to honor them. And everybody, even Sarah pointed it out to me earlier. Did you know about people from the Philippines that were helping Jewish people? Absolutely. How do we learn this? Because cultures come together. And it's an honor to be able to look at other things in this incredible place, like our South Bay Historical Society, Chula Vista Heritage Museum. Nothing makes me happy there than to see new dances, culture, food. I get to learn about this. I get to show the appreciation for the hardworking nurses and soldiers that worked in that were in World War II, people that came over here. I mean, it can't be any better than that. So, of course, my goal now is to make sure that anybody who does something that marks territory verbally or physically with signs, please let me know about this, because I don't want them to go thinking that they can go after another group.
Well, I think now that the chief is aware,
library's aware,
and now that this,
and now you're aware,
right? now that his situation has come up, this individual actually has done a favor unintentionally to where now
we're beefing up security.
Right, we're beefing up security, and anything that looks racially motivated and in a negative. I mean, nothing's ever positive about it. People are going to be talking more now.
But Brett, you want to know what a friend of mine said? Do you know what this man did? He validated that it happened. He validated that it happened. So for all these people that are denying, saying, oh, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this man was so angry and knew so much about it that he validated it. Isn't that weird?
Well, no, that's what I was saying. I think he unintentionally did something that is going to end up being a very positive situation, because now there's more awareness, and now we need to look for things like
together.
Well, we need to look for the graffiti. We need to look for. We can't just sweep it under the rug and think that, okay, well, this is just a child, or anything that looks like anything that has hate involved with it. It needs to be taken seriously and reported, and people need to do something about it.
Brett, something happened many moons ago, that somebody made a slur toward me, and I swallowed it and I learned to ignore it. But I got to tell you, I don't do that anymore.
Good.
It now gets confronted. I'm not going to go back to what happened and say, hey, you know what happened 15 years ago or 10 years ago? I'm not going to do that. But my eyes are open even when they're closed when it comes to something like this.
Well, we support everything that you do. We love you, and
love you.
We're protective over you. And I know the city of Chula Vista is. I know everybody loves you and thinks the world of you. Everybody. You've done so much for all of us. You've made me more aware. Even my children know all about you. They know about your mom. It's been like a stone in a still pool. It's magnified, and it's going to continue.
All I want to say is, if somebody sees something, bring it to my attention. If it's on a wall, if somebody says something, please bring it to my attention so it can be de-escalated.
And I see a website at the end of at the bottom of the screen there, where they can contact.
Try to remember, never forget, at gmail.com.
And there's also a phone number.
Our South Bay Historical Society. Give me a call. And like I said, I will take classes from somebody like Chief Kennedy, where I will be able to say to her, yeah, this thing is on a wall, this is here, this is there. That's a commitment that we made, because that's how we keep our community as a community.
Well, I want everybody to know that you can also email us also at IQ Podcast if you see anything that needs to be reported. We are a community podcast and publications that we do, and we back Sandra 100%. And so if anything comes up that you see that's not kosher, please email us to let us know, and so she can keep an eye on it, and we can keep an eye on it. Because really, honestly, even though the nation's having its problems, Chula Vista itself, or the South Bay, we've always been pretty decent about some things. We're not perfect, but we seem to work those things out, and I believe that we will figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll keep working at it. I know everybody.
People that are watching, I just want to thank you so much. Those who came to the exhibit, who showed support, and the fact that, like I said, you know, on one hand, I'm so sorry that this happened the last day that we were taking the exhibit down. But on the other hand, it's a new beginning that we're all going to keep our eyes open to make sure this doesn't happen again. I want you all to have a good night. Yeah.
And again, all that information you see at the bottom, it's not there just to fill things up. It's there to use for things that just don't look right. Yeah. So please contact her. Email.
If you hear something, if something isn't right, let's compare it. Maybe, you know, and I mean, I hate to say this, but if you happen to get into a confrontation with somebody and somebody can take a photo, I mean, that guy is really stuck in my mind. And if somebody sees this or hears it, please bring it to our attention so it can be de-escalated. I like that word, de-escalated.
I like it too. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Well, everybody be good to each other and take care. Let's be nice and let's be respectful of whatever differences we have. And there's no reason why we can't still get along and respect each other's differences.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
We grew up like that.
Yeah, we did.
You know, you could have a beer or go out and party and be with somebody that's completely different and have a great time.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean
and
you
it's
can't
called respect.
and you can't doesn't mean you can't be friends. It just means you're different. And that's what makes the world such a wonderful place. We need to get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it like I said, it was a shock. If somebody said that to you, how would you react if somebody uses those words? You know, where was God? He was busy building the wall in Auschwitz for Jews to be killed. And that's what I listened to. You know, and yeah, it's a shock. It was a shock. But because of people like you, we can bring it to the attention and talk about it, which is what you do
this is highly abnormal. We don't do shows usually this late.
Yeah.
And actually, this show would do really well in Vegas. We'd go get breakfast afterwards.
Go to Walmart.
We go
bowling.
No, we're going to go grab some breakfast. We're going to go get some grits, and we're going to get some pancakes and whatever the deal. But everybody, take something positive from this. And if you have any ideas or thoughts, there's all the information. We'll keep airing this interview.
I appreciate it.
As long as we can get it out there.
Yeah.
And you'll possibly be seeing Sandra more often around, hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'd love to see you more often.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, Mark. We'll all get together and go eat one of these times, okay?
That would be great. Sarah, he's all yours now.
Everybody take care and remember, yippee-ki-yay.